Hello everyone, welcome back. So I have this Hyde made in the USA utility knife. Now this one has a little story behind it too. My son and I were fishing, let's see, it's probably got to be at least 15 years ago. We were off a jetty. For anybody that's from New York, Long Island area, it was off of the Throgs Neck Bridge. There's a jetty that comes out over there. We were fishing there, and we found this knife. Somebody was using this to cut up their bait, and it was pretty nasty, so we took it home, cleaned it up just real quick. It's got some marks and scratches on it. I've used this primarily as a fatwood kind of knife. It's got a great 90-degree spine. I use this to scrape the ferro rod, make Maya dust, split my little fatwood pieces, and it's got holds a really sharp edge. And I said, wow, you know what? I could probably turn that into a decent little belt knife. It's got a tang, and the tang is pinned here. So I want to get it out of the handle first. Normally I would probably try to push that pin out, but it doesn't go through the other side. So I don't want to start beating on it and not know how wide the tang, I can see how wide it is, but I don't know how long, or basically I don't want to bend it. So I'm going to get some tools, and I'm going to try to take that pin out, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Alright, so here's my plan. I'm going to whittle away this wood here. I'd like to save the handle, but that's not going to happen. Although if I don't mess it up too much, I might be able to use it for something else. Whenever you're using a sheetrock knife or any kind of knife, don't have your thumb up here. As you can see, I have my thumb under here, so if you slip, you're not going to cut yourself. Alright, let's see if I can grab that. There it goes. So basically just a little nail. Let's see if it comes out. So I don't know if they glue it in or not, but let me get myself a little soft mallet. We'll try to pop that off. Alright. Try this way first. Man, that's in there. Let's go to a little ball peen. Man, that's in there. There you go. All right. So that's what we got. I actually was hoping that the tang was coming down more, but that's okay. So now the next thing to do is figure out what kind of shape we want. So let me clean this up and I'll bring you back. All right, so now what I have in mind is a small belt knife. I know you heard me say I'm not into the huge ones. So let's see what we got here for length. So we have 6 inches, okay? What I like to do is I'll put my hand on something like this and I'll get an idea of, you know, what size fits good in my hand. So we're looking at, you know, 3 inches is going to fit in my hand well. Okay, so just trying to get an idea. If I go 3 inches here, let's say I make a through tang. 3 inches would leave me with a 3-inch blade. Okay, which would be, the whole knife would be this size. I'm going to put it in my hand this way so I don't cut myself. So that would be about how much was sticking out, the blade portion. So that's a possibility. Huh. So in that case, I would have to remove this is where my brain just starts reeling, ticking. Oh, look at that, folks. That line came out right there. So that would have to be removed. I'm not sure what kind of edge I want on it. And something like that would be nice. But I think I kind of want it. Let's flip it over, just get an idea. I think I want this cutting edge to sweep up. And have a nice long sweep on it. Something like that. Nice for skinning. Whoa, sorry about that. Yeah, something like that. And then that leaves me with, so this will actually be back here a little bit further. That would leave me with a, if I go from here to here for the cutting edge, well, it's got the radius. It's going to be about 3 inches. And then the tang, like I said, about 3 inches. And then my plan is to make an aluminum guard, not sticking out too far, and an aluminum pommel, and then maybe walnut for the handle. And then what I would do is probably put a pin here and another pin here, and then we already have that hole for that pin. Now here's the big question. Is this already, well, obviously it's hardened and tempered. The question is, will I be able to drill a hole in this at this state? So if I can't, I only have one carbide bit drill, and I actually think it's a little too big for this, for the pin size I want to use, but I'm going to double check. But if I can't drill a hole in it, I'm going to have to anneal it, which is basically bring it up to critical temperature and let it cool slowly. Maybe do that 2 or 3 times in the little backyard forge. And then it'll be soft enough to drill into. But then that also means that I have to re-harden it and re-temper it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm kind of liking that shape. Yeah, I think that'll work out. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I could drill a hole. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to find the center line here. So basically I'll measure it across. So we got 1 inch. Okay, so it looks to me like this tang is a little bit off center. So it doesn't matter because I got to grind the heck out of this anyway. So we'll get it all centered. So basically I'm going to get a center line here and then figure out where I want to put the other 2 pins. So I'll figure out where this top pin is going to go, and then I'll draw a mark where the center pin will go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off all of this Sharpie, and I'm going to lay out those lines. So basically, just like I said, I'm going to find the center of this tang and draw a straight line up. And I'll just use like a straight edge ruler. I won't bore you watching that. So when I get that set up, I'll bring you back. All right, it's actually the next day. I decided not to do the layout on the actual blade. So I did it on cardboard. So it's like file liners. So cut it out like this. Then I cut it out another one. And I kind of drew in where I want to make my cuts to extend the tang. And I got a center line and I round this off. I think I'm going to really like that. Nice sweep here. So a couple things. It's actually called a Hyde hand knife. Industrial hand knife. Stiff. And what it says here is it's made from high carbon chrome vanadium steel. Ground and tempered to precise tolerances. Then I was looking in a little bit further because I know I have a lot of tools that say that. And it said, this is from Case. These knives are constructed without chrome vanadium steel, CV, which is known for their edge holding ability and easy resharpening. However, they are less resistant to rusting, pitting, and discoloration than stainless steel. So I guess it's somewhere between just carbon steel and stainless steel, which is really cool. And that's why this thing holds such a really good edge. So now this is about, let me give you the thickness of this. We got about 3/32. So it's not terribly thick, but it's going to be fine. So now, and all the ideas I said previous, as I was thinking through the night, I came up with some other ideas. So I had these two scales for another project that I never used, and I like them. I think they're about the right size for what I want to do. I have this little piece of aluminum that I'm going to use for a guard. I don't think I'm going to put a guard down this end. So what we're going to have it look like is something like this. Again, I got to run this stuff all through my mind. So something about like that. I think I like the way it looks. Not I think though I like it. I like the way it looks. And then I'm going to put a pin in, obviously where this hole is. Now, I may put another pin in here, kind of in the center of the handle part, the scale part, but I haven't decided yet. I think heat treating this, not knowing exactly what it is, well, I kind of know what it is, but I've never heat treated the CV steel, so I don't want to mess around with that, so I'm going to try to keep its temper. Even when I'm cleaning it up or anything, any power tools, I'm going to make sure I keep it very cool. So the other thing I wanted to do is, because these are scales, obviously it's not a full tang, but what I wanted to do is cut a piece of maple. Now, that's going to be tough because it's only going to be 3/32, and form the maple all around the edge. So it's kind of going to make the slot where the tang is going to go in. I've always wanted to do that. I think it'll look really cool with the contrasting wood in between there. Obviously it's going to be much thinner. So that's my plan. Next thing I have to do is draw this pattern onto the blade and then trim this all out. So I'm not going to bore you watching me grinding it because it's going to take a long time. I'm going to go very, very slowly, and I'm going to keep cooling it, and I'm going to grind it down. So I don't want this to get too long. When I end up making knife videos, I just start babbling and I start going off, and they take a really long time. And I know time is precious, so I'm going to call this the end of part 1. And when you come back for part 2, I'll have this shaped like this. And then we'll continue on. So thanks everyone. I hope you're enjoying this. It's just a fun little thing to do. How practical it's going to be, I'm not sure, but I think it's going to work out really well. So again, everyone, I appreciate you coming along. I hope you all are staying safe out there, and we'll see you on part 2.